I married the most dangerous man in Africa. It shocked the whole underworld. I was a broke Ugandan college student. My family lived in poverty. One day, I met a billionaire South African mafia arms dealer. He is the man everyone fear. Against the odds, I fell in love and married. This is part 12. If you're new here, I recommend starting the story from the beginning. The morning everything went wrong. Nothing looked wrong. I woke up before the sun. Coffee was already cooling on the counter. My bag was half packed from the night before. My phone blinked quietly on the charger. I lay there staring at the ceiling with this heavy feeling in my chest that I couldn't explain. Everything looked normal. It just didn't feel normal. I got up and tried to keep myself busy. Folded the clothes I'd left on the chair, smoothed fabric between my fingers, watched pale light slip through the blinds. The fridge hummed. Traffic started waking up outside. Ordinary sounds. Ordinary movements. My stomach kept twisting anyway. I told myself to calm down. Count breaths. One shirt, then another. It's nothing. Just a morning like any other. Then I looked outside. The guards were there before sunrise like always, but something about them was off. They stood straighter, closer to the house. One lingered where he normally wouldn't. Another glanced toward the window, just for a second. My heart skipped. I laughed quietly at myself. You're imagining things, but even as I thought it, I didn't believe it. Thabo called while I was in the kitchen. His voice wasn't angry. It wasn't cold. It was calm. Too calm. "Did you lock the door?" he asked. Not, "Are you okay?" Not, "Did you sleep well?" Just that. "Yes," I said. "I always do." We hung up, and I stood there holding my phone, wondering why that question felt heavier than it should have. I washed the dishes slowly, let the clinking and dripping fill the space. The smell of coffee mixed with toast burning slightly. I don't even like it that dark. My hands shook a little. Just enough for me to notice. Half-packed bag, blinking phone, burnt toast. Everything looked normal. Why did it feel wrong? As the morning went on, security tightened. New faces. Guards standing in places they hadn't yesterday. No one explained anything. No one said a word. The tension just hummed. My phone kept buzzing. Missed calls from my mom, from Ruth, from Grace. I didn't answer. The thought of talking made my throat tighten. I didn't even know what I would say. I'm fine. Everything's normal. Except it wasn't. I could feel that in my body. I hung laundry, folded more clothes. Every movement careful, deliberate, like being gentle enough could keep the unease away. My pulse picked up for no reason. My stomach tightened, not just for me, but for the baby. I sat down and held my belly without thinking. The baby moved. I whispered a small prayer and counted breaths, telling myself it was just nerves, the pregnancy, the city. Leaving everything behind in Uganda. By evening, nothing had happened. Traffic hummed outside. Lights flicked on in neighboring houses. Someone laughed. Someone argued. Everything sounded exactly the way it should. That somehow made it worse. I paced inside, brushing my hands over the counter, gripping the edge when sharp footsteps echoed down the hall. Thabo had stepped out briefly. He always does. But this wasn't him. Just shadows moving too fast. Whispers in a language I don't understand. I froze. Then I saw it. A shadow at the edge of the gate. I blinked, and it was gone. I told myself I was tired, that I was imagining things, but once I noticed, I couldn't stop noticing. The next morning it happened. I was folding laundry again, half my breakfast still on the counter, coffee warm in its mug, sunlight spilling over the tiles. Everything looked normal. Then a voice came from behind me. "Move now. No questions." Two hands grabbed my arms, not rough, firm, enough that my body froze instantly. My stomach tightened around the baby. My heart slammed into my throat. A door slammed behind me and locked automatically. The sound echoed down the corridor, loud and final. "Do not use your phone. Silence." I nodded without thinking. My hands were already on my stomach. The baby kicked. Sharp, insistent. I could feel Thabo somewhere close, but I couldn't see him. Other women were being moved too. Pale, silent. No one spoke. No one explained anything. We were shoved into a small, dim room. The door locked again. I pressed my forehead into my hands and tried to stop shaking. This is security. This is nothing else, right? Then glass shattered. Alarms exploded. Shrill, overlapping, so loud my ears rang and my mind seized. Guards shouted commands I didn't understand. Everything moved too fast. And then I realized Thabo was gone. 1 second he had been beside me, calm, steady, grounding. And the next, there was nothing. Panic hit so hard I felt dizzy. He wouldn't leave me. Not now. Not like this. I was moved again. Into a vehicle. Everything blurred. The world outside was chaos. Engines roared. Another vehicle followed too close, headlights flashing through smoke that burned my eyes. Tires screeched. The convoy swerved. Smoke crept inside. I gagged and buried my face in my elbow. The baby kicked hard. "Stay with me," I whispered. "Please." I didn't know where they were taking us. I just followed instructions. Move, stop, wait, freezing and obeying without understanding why. I saw a bodyguard stumble, clutching his side, bleeding. Not dead, but hurt. I looked away. I couldn't process it. Time stopped making sense. Seconds, minutes, hours melted together. I don't know when the SUV slowed. I barely noticed the hotel until the gates closed behind us. Inside, locked, guarded, safe, or something close to it. I don't remember walking down the hallway. I remember a room already prepared, curtains drawn, guards outside. Thabo guiding me to the bed like if he moved too fast, I might break. We didn't talk much. I lay there fully clothed, one hand on my stomach, listening to unfamiliar quiet. Every sound made my heart jump. Thabo didn't sleep. I could feel it. At one point, his hand rested on my back, steady, protective. Morning came without asking permission. I woke before the sun. My body felt heavy, like it had been holding itself together all night, and finally realized it could stop. Thabo slept beside me, breathing slow and even. Even breathing felt wrong for me. Later, they took me to the hospital. Sometime after the chaos, my stomach started cramping. When I saw blood, even a little, I couldn't pretend anymore. I was shaking so badly I could barely breathe. Thabo didn't let me move alone. His hand stayed on my arm. Calm, practical, protective. But I could feel his fear anyway. Inside the hospital, everything felt wrong because it was so normal. Nurses moved gently. Monitors beeped. Cold sheets. Antiseptic. If something goes wrong kept looping in my head. Then the doctor checked the baby. There was a pause, then a heartbeat. Relief crashed over me so hard I sobbed. Quietly. Because the baby was alive. Because I was alive. Because my body hadn't failed us. The fear didn't disappear. It just loosened enough to let me breathe. 3 days later, we were home. The city moved on like nothing had happened. Traffic, neighbors, life. Doctors confirmed again that the baby was fine. I heard that heartbeat one more time. It didn't fix anything. My hands still shook. I slept clothed. Every sound made me flinch. Thabo checked locks 3 times. Sometimes his hands shook when he thought I wasn't looking. Love felt different after that. Heavier, quieter, more serious. A week later, I walked into a room and knew nothing was normal. Thabo's father sat at the head of the table. He didn't look at me once. "Thab, you let this happen," he said to Thabo. "Softness is dangerous." I hugged my belly without thinking. The stepmother smiled politely and said, "This situation is destabilizing." Her eyes flicked to my stomach. "You know what must happen." One brother smirked. The other couldn't meet my eyes. The elders said nothing. Then his father said it. "Family comes first. Everything else is disposable, including her." I bit my lip until it burned. Days later, his father was ambushed, critically injured. If anything, it made things worse. Meetings behind closed doors, whispers, decisions made because of me, but not with me. Through all of it, Thabo never let go of my hand. Then my phone started ringing. My mother? My father? I lied to them. Told them I was fine. Told them I was just tired. When my father offered to let me come home to Uganda, I whispered, "I can't." That night, Ruth texted me, "Are you alive?" I stared at it for a long time. Grace called later. "Are you safe with him?" she asked. The question landed heavy. "I'm okay," I said. It didn't sound true. Daniel texted once. "No drama, no pressure. If you ever need somewhere to stay, my sister has a spare room. No questions." That message broke something in me. At night, my mind started planning. Not acting. Just planning. If I had to leave, what I'd take, how fast I could disappear. That surprised me. I love my husband. Loving him feels like gravity. Constant, undeniable. But surviving changed something. Love doesn't make me feel safe anymore. It makes me careful. I didn't reply to the messages. I couldn't lie. I couldn't explain. I couldn't go back to who I was. We lay in the dark, his hand over my stomach, guards outside, silence inside. I didn't feel peace, just acceptance, and the quiet that comes when you realize nothing will ever be simple again.